the Rock Metal Podcast, episode 245 with Black Dog Prowl. All right, Rock Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. Today we just heard was Fine Lines Far Cry by Black Dog Prowl, who I've got on the show with me right now. We've got a new EP called Fine Lousy State, which released on November 23rd. Right now I'm being joined by several members of the band, share some stories about the music, and share more info about what they've going on. So guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John.
Having us.
Hey, John. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely good to have you guys on. Let's go listen back to that track, Fine Lines Far Cry. Back from Fine Lines Far Cry, which is a crushing guitar tone, a great sound, and a loud in-your-face kind of just... That was the notes I made. Crushing guitar tone, great sound, loud, and in-your-face.
IA. Yep.
You're like, yeah, that checks off the list.
Checks out.
Sweet. Which is this track is the lead single off of the EP, and just starting off small, I guess. If you guys wouldn't mind, what's the story or inspiration behind the track?
The track itself, I mean, it's always a challenge to kind of like say exactly what a tune is about because it can kind of take you in different directions. And my personal thing is I like to let people kind of have their own interpretations, so I don't want to step on their toes on that. But the general kind of like tenor of the tune is, you know, particularly with what's going on in our neck of the woods, there's a lot of division and all that type of stuff, and kind of touches on some of that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. A lot of stuff to be pissed off about these days.
You're kidding. Like what? Well, I mean,
Yeah. Let me get my list out real quick.
I mean, granted, I live in Canada. We just legalized marijuana, so everybody's happy.
I know, we're coming up there.
Congrats.
The only complaint is it's not as good as the other stuff I used to get.
Yeah.
But
not strong enough.
Cool beans. All right, let's go listen to the next track, State Radio. Rock Metal Nation, it's John from the Rock Metal Podcast for a real quick break to let you know that Jay over at Metal Mayhem Radio is looking to help you get your band in rotation on his station. So go ahead and hit up Jay at studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. That is studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. Just go ahead and say that the Rock Metal Podcast sent you. He'll get you into rotation on Metal Mayhem Radio. I come back from State Radio again, crushing guitar tone, great sound, loud, and in your face. It's definitely very cool stuff. Similar question for you. What's the story or inspiration behind State Radio?
So this one's a little more kind of directed towards, I guess, the media approach to what's happening in a consistent theme through this EP probably about what we're getting pissed off about these days, but using certain people's names to give them more publicity than they need. But there's that, and then just the general inaction that kind of follows events that take place across the country, like these shootings, which you guys don't seem to have as much of a problem with, but we seem to see that every couple weeks, which is something we have to deal with. But,
Yeah, especially being Jewish, there's one that rings very close to my heart that happened just a couple of weeks ago.
Yep, same. That was brutal. That was really brutal. And I mean, not that any of them are not brutal, but when you see specific targeting of a group of people like that, whether it's Jewish, African American, or any of that, it's extremely difficult to handle and infuriating, and that's where the anger comes from in these tunes.
Wow. All right. Now for Rock Metal Nation, who dug the 2 tracks Fine Lines, Far Cry, and State Radio, will be super excited to know that there is a full EP containing, it's 3 more tracks, correct?
Yep, five track EP.
Yep, 5 track total called Fine Lousy State, which I believe is the use of irony.
A little bit.
A little
irony,
bit.
Sarcasm. All of it, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you did mention earlier there's a consistent theme on the EP, the general inaction, things going on in the country, maybe even tensions mounting. So I'm curious if you wouldn't mind taking us through the rest of the EP. When we pick it up, what should we expect?
I've been doing a lot of talking. Any of you guys want to jump in here?
Well, you don't let us write the lyrics, so anything that's good to be said, now's your time to shine. The other 3 tunes are more of the crushing guitars, as you said, John. We are a grunge hard rock band at heart, so that is our focus. That's our bread and butter. That's what we love to play. So it's 3 more tunes along those same lines. It's funny that we led off with 2 of the more political tunes because the other 3 generally, Josh, you'd have to speak on the lyrics, but they seem to push more towards other topics, a little less away from the political spectrum.
Yeah, I don't know. The sort of the other 2, the Hill You Die On and Salt the Earth. They're not as explicitly political, but there's similar frustration going on there. And then the last one, which is kind of the softer side of the band. I don't know if that's a thing. But the Days Go By track, which is more personal, but runs the gamut.
Yeah, now, I guess something a follow-up question is: did you guys come together to decide what the EP was going to be about, or was it more like it just took on a life of its own?
Well, yeah, I mean, it sort of took a life on its own. And Pablo, do you want to jump in on that one? I don't think we set out and we're like, all right, we're going to write a political record. It's just kind of like what kind of came through with the tunes and then the lyric writing and that. But.
Yeah, and for a lot of the tunes, the lyric writing was a separate endeavor than the music writing. So we just came together and we wrote the music for these songs collectively as a band, and sort of like honing in on our different musical backgrounds. We all, even though we're all into rock and heavy rock, we all have very distinct like influences, and just like bringing all that together was a very interesting creative process that took us probably the better part of 3 or 4 months. We ended up writing and recording 9 songs, and we are releasing these first 5 songs as the first EP, and then the other 4 will be released as a follow-up EP sometime next year.
Fantastic. I just imagine you guys getting together with acoustic guitars and being like, "We're so angry."
Yeah. Well, basically, yeah, we do, but then the lyrics are Josh.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah. So I actually don't know what the lyrics are about for like 3 or of these 5 songs. I don't think I've even paid attention to the lyrics.
I
read
all
the
lyrics about you, Pablo. They're all about you.
Fantastic. All right. Well, the next logical question on Rock Metal Nation's mind, who's super excited about everything they've just heard, is how can we stay in touch with you guys? Is there a place we should go to on the web?
Yeah, I mean, all the standard hits. We have the BlackDogProwl.com, which kind of can branch you out to anywhere else you want to go, but everywhere, the standard social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter. Although we don't really do much with the Twitter, we still have it, but. And then, Spotify, Google Play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of our social media handles are always the same. It's either /Black Dog Prowl or @Black Dog Prowl, depending on the
True story.
on the platform. Yeah.
Wow, you heard it here.
Really innovative. Really innovative.
Exactly. Speaking of innovation, unless there's anything else you guys wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come onto the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing Black Dog Prowl with Rock Metal Nation.
Oh, it's just a pleasure to be on. Thanks for having us, and keep supporting your local artists, man. Like, doesn't have to be all the big bands that are out there, although they're great. But dig a little deeper, and you'll be better for it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And if you do like what you hear, please let us know on social media. We always like getting positive feedback from new fans that are discovering our music in different locations and in different countries.
I like the negative feedback personally, but, positive is also good.
When you get the acoustic guitars, you can go, I'm so angry. I got some negative feedback today.
That's right.
Fuck that guy. I hope he steps on a Lego with his dick.
Ooh.
That's some hateful shit,
Well
man.
said. Well said.
That's pretty specific.
All right, Rock Metal Nation. Hope you just found your new favorite band in Black Dog Prowl. Big thanks again to them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.
James Conk.